Okay. So in a trail account, like a free developer account, we can create only 2 users with a system admin profile, right? So now to understand this functionality clearly, what you can do is you can complete it from Trailhead so that you can see the clear difference. Okay, so now what I am doing is I created a permission set. So after creating permission set, you can see for permission set name, I kept like a training permission, right? So here you can see assigned apps. So app level settings, you can control it. So assigned apps means here from here, we can control app level access to this permission set. So let's suppose as I told you in a profile level, the user should have as minimum as less access, right? So coming to the assigned apps for the user in a profile level, let's suppose the user won't have access to some app. So in a profile level, what we can do is we can provide that additional access by dragging and dropping that app into this thing. Okay. So like this, we can add apps. As in a profile level, we added all the apps access to the user. That's why I'm not worrying about this. Okay. It is loading. So permission set overview portion. I'm coming back to the permission set overview portion. Assigned apps means from there we can control apps access. So in a profile level, if the user won't have access to some apps, we can provide that access from permission set level. The next object settings. Let's suppose we consider a scenario, right? So for these user, like you all are having same profile, having user, and you'll be having Superman, like a super access, like that will be having some app, super access for employees. So it is an app which should have all the analytics for employees data. So for this specific app, I have to provide access to Prithvi. At the time, what I have to, I won't be touch this profile again. So if I give that access in a profile level, remaining users also will get an access to see that application. But to do that, what we can do is I can give that app access here in a permission set level so that Prithvi only can able to have access to that app. Similarly, we'll be having object settings. Object settings means I'll jump into this. So you can see all the apps. So what are the apps we are having and which level of access you want to provide for that app. So coming to the account, I'm opening this account tab. So for account, the user won't have a delete access, right? So from here, what I'll do is I'll provide delete access as well. I clicked on edit. So here tab setting, by default, whether this tab should be available or not. Yes, available and visible. Now, which level of access you want to provide? For this user, I have to provide delete access. I have to provide delete access. For this account object. Like that, for whatever the object you want to provide additional access, you can do it from this. Understood? How we can control object level access. So coming to the field level access also, for which fields you have to give access to the user. So while clicking this, you can see now, along with the object permissions, you can see the field level access at the bottom for the specific object. So on this object, for which fields you want to give an access. So let's suppose, though I can give edit and delete access to the users for an object level. Coming to the field level, I don't want to give edit access for this field. Which field? Active field. Such kind of things also you can do from a permission set level. Make sense? We can make some field is read only as well. Clear? So now I'm doing this. So just for account object only, I'm giving this access now. I'm saving it. Perfect. So now you can see here from here, we added object, just a single object level access. Okay. Like that, whatever the things we want to set up. whatever the permissions we can give from a profile, all the permissions we can give from here as well. Okay, Apex class permissions, app permissions, external data source permissions, flow access, named credentials access, everything we can do. System access, system permissions, service providers, everything we can do from here. After this, after creating this permission set, we should give this access to some users, right? So now what I'll do is I'm going to manage assignments. So in the manage assignments, you can see edit assignment option. So far there is no users in this permission set. So whatever the security things you set up here, if you want to give this access to some group of people, you can go to current assignments. In this, you'll be having add assignments. So in the add assignments, you can see the different users. You can see different users. So test security, we created this user, right? So I have to give access to this user and I'm clicking on next. So for whatever, whoever the users you want to give an access, you can select that user. And here you can see a filters as well. Active users only, admin users, or all users. So you can select in an all user, we are going through test security. For this user, I'm giving access. So now it is a newly added feature. It's a newly added feature. So in this newly added feature, you can see no expiration date. Means this user should have access to this permissions in a lifetime. Let's suppose sometimes you have a requirement like I have to give access for just 30 days or just 1 day only that user should have an over access, super access, or just 30 days that user should have an access. For the custom date only that user should have an access. That thing also you can specify. It means like whatever the permissions that I created here, let's suppose the user should have access for only 1 day. From today to 6th Feb till this time. Till that time only, the user should have access to account object to delete. Like that, if you want to set up, you can select these options. Is it fine? With the permission sets, what we are doing, we are providing additional access to the user. At this time, what we did, we provided additional access to the account. To delete access we are providing for account. And here we'll be having custom option like how many expiration date, custom expiration means how like after how many days your permission should expire. That thing also we can set up. Okay, after doing everything, you can click on done. Okay, now we created this thing. Then next you'll be having, along with the permission set, you'll be having permission set groups option. Can you able to see this option? The purpose of this
Yes.
permission set groups is, so coming to the permission set, we added single users, right? In the permission set, we added single users. But in a future, you'll be having requirement like you have to add multiple users in the same group. Means a public group will be having public groups and queues. I'll come back to that thing later. Okay. So now we'll jump into that user and we'll see how he can able to access the accounts. So previously we saw he won't be able to delete the records, right? On an account page, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
Now I'm navigating to this page again. Now I'm jumping to accounts. See, you can see. Previously it is not there. Now it is added.
Yes.
So understood what we can do with the permission sets. So however,
Yes.
the user won't have access in a profile level, that we can control from a permission set. We can provide an additional access to the users for apps, system configurations, and objects, fields, and tabs. Okay. Clear?
Yes.
Shall I
Yes.
walk through the record level security now? So far, whatever we discussed, that is comes under this portion. This portion has we already done now. Object level security, field level security, we can say app level security, tab level security, page layout access. This complete stuff, system configurations. Everything we can do with the profiles and permission sets. Now the leftover thing is record level access. Next thing is record level access. Record level access means, so coming to the any organization, let's suppose we are working on like a leads. Let's suppose we are salespeople. As a salespeople, we should be able to see our own records. We won't be able to see others' records. At that time, we should have our OWD as a private. Record level access, essentially, we can control with the OWD.
Right.
Happen to this. So I'm going to sharing settings first. In settings, all objects will come back to this latter. OWD we have to go through first. So here I'm navigating to this article to see how he explained. This is a nice article which I saw today morning, 5 minutes before starting your session. It will helpful to you a lot. So record level access we can control like this. Organization wide sharing defaults.
Where can we find this?
In a setup only we'll find that. I'll show you
No,
that.
no. This article.
I'll share you. I'll share you in your
Okay.
WhatsApp group so that it will be helpful to everyone.
Thank you.
So I'll go to sharing portion. I will see. Home system, like app users, data, feature change, scale, setting, company settings, security. Settings here we have in OWD will be having. So we will go to setup security sharing settings. In sharing settings only we'll be having OWD. Okay. So I came to sharing settings. So coming to this sharing settings here, we can see, yeah, it is org-wide defaults. So sharing settings means how the user should have access to the record that will be set by sharing settings. In the sharing settings, you'll be having org-wide defaults. So by default, I'm clicking on this edit option. So by default, most of the objects should have like a huge access to the all users. So initially, most of your objects should have very less access in the object levels, like OWD level. Sorry for the interruption. Okay, so now here you can see it is an OWD. How the object level access is present throughout a Salesforce ecosystem. So default internal access or external access, it should be minimum. It means it should be private for most of the objects. Means whatever the objects user is using for that object, it should be private. So let's suppose for account, where is account? Account and contact. No, not that. Search account. I'll show you the impact of this. Account and contract. Let's suppose public read write it is there. Now I'll keep it private. Okay. 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 So for remaining objects also by default, all the child objects of this also master data relationship have a record also converted into private now. You can see now I have to make employee records also private. Let's suppose here where is employee company is there now. Yes. Private. Now control F. Employee, is it in alphabetical order? I unable to find employee object. We created, right, employee object. Okay, no worries. I think employee object is yeah, for company object we kept now. Okay, so they both have a master detail, I think, like lookup, right? Yeah, for account and contact, sorry, for account and employee will be having master detail relationship, so that by default employee also acquires same properties. We'll see that. So we kept a sharing model as a private manual user sharing record. Yes, manual sharing user sharing record means, let's suppose you are a owner of a record. Let's suppose Sirisha is the owner of a record, and she's not understanding that record, and she should have a access to share her record with Monica. At the time, whether she should have sharing option or not. For that purpose, this tick box. Okay, manager groups. I'm not giving access to that. Okay, I'm saving it now. Now, what I'll do is one more sharing questions. What is it? Here. Yes. So in a sharing settings, first we went through the test security or default update of again submit changes after comparison. Okay, no need. Opportunity like yeah, so initially argwide sharing defaults. From argwide sharing defaults, what we can do is we can control object level access. So if we make by default, it should be public. For companies, for data security purpose, it should be private. Whatever the objects you want to provide access to the end users, all those objects should be in a private mode. Now what I'll do is I'll create one record for company here. Now what I'll do is I can able to see all the records. Why means, so here you can see only security check only. Okay, I'll create new record. Oh, sorry, it's as a user, right? Oh, my logged in as test security user, right? As a test security user, he will be having access to his records only. Now, okay, so now I'll navigate to another tab, as it is another tab, right? So it's an admin user. So I'm checking user profile username from here. So test security user, this is test security user. I'll check for the admin user. So now here I'll check whether it is an admin user or not. Yes. Which user it is? Yeah, Prithvi SF training. This one is the original account. So now what I'll do is I'll create one company record. New. Access check. See you. Comment the accounts also. New. Okay, so we created two records now here. Okay, in a company's one and in employees also, I'll try to create one more. So now I'll try to create one record. Full-time employee next. Let's access. Not required. Full-time. Access check. So I'm saving this record. So everything well and good. We created three records now for different objects. Now what I will do is I'll go to that tab. Where is it? This portion. I'll walk through another tab. This one. And here I'll check whether the user have access to those records or not. So though I'm coming to the companies tab, in the companies, access check, security check. Coming to the security check. So here you can see owner is test security. That's why he can able to see that record. Here access check. So test security is the owner. Let's suppose if you go to employee record, I think I created with the same that profile only. So all. You can see in all also he is having one record only. Whereas coming to the employees will be having multiple records, right? Previously also we created some records. Remember?
Yes, Jacob.
Yes, but we set up a argwide sharing as a private. So that's why the user will have only access to his own records. Understood?
Yeah.
That's the reason he can able to see his own records only. And here you can see change owner option. Remember? So there while creating a OWD, I kept change owner option as a tick mark at the bottom.
Yes.
Because of that only this change owner option you can able to see here. Okay. With the OWD, what we
Yep.
can do, we can set up an object in a private mode. So if you set up an object in a private mode, remember this thing. So where it is, yeah, OWD, right? So objects in a private mode means record level access in private mode for the specific object. So it will be work out whenever the user have CRUD access. Create, update, edit, delete. On these cases, it will work perfectly. Whereas in a object level or in a profile level or permission set level we are having, right? In this place, if the user have view all or modify all access, if the user have this access means, though if you set up OWD as private, they'll be having access to the complete database records. Understood this stuff?
Yes.
Yes. So if you walk through the trailhead model, you'll understand much clearly. Okay. The next will be having sharing rules. Sharing rules means, let's suppose whatever the records owned by Shirisha, for some records, I have to give access to Prithvi. Let's suppose whatever the records have access by Maunika, what I have to do is based on some condition, if some condition satisfies, I have to give those records access to Prithvi and Shirisha. Okay, to do that, what we can do is we can go to the sharing settings. Okay, so now what I'll do is, yes, Test security, here it is test security. There also test security, I think, user. Yes, here. I think here only I logged in with the test security user. Both the places we logged in is test security. That's why that's replicated. Here, what I'll do is, yeah, I'll go to users. No, I'll log out here and I'll log in again. I hope you are understanding everything.
Yes, Yaku.
So now here I logged in with a different user, right? So now here what I'll do is I'll go to app, which app? Sales app. Let's suppose my first app. So now I'll create an employee record or a company record. Let's suppose new check saving this. Now we created this record, right? So this record is created by me. But if I go to that, I won't be able to see. If I come here, and here, if you refresh this page, if you go to companies, we won't see that. So you won't be able to see. So check means the owner is the same one. So yeah, I think the here also it is navigated. I think I logged out there now. Like you can try it in incognito window so that it will be work perfectly. Okay, clear this point. What I have to convey.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
Actually, what happening is like I used a Chrome browser now. What's happening is whenever I'm log outing from there and again log in, here also user is changing.
Yes, yes.
So coming to the sharing setting, here you'll be having under OWD in a sharing settings, you can see the different options. Along with the objects, you'll be having object level sharing, you can see other settings, you can see. And for each and every object, you'll be having sharing rules. For each and every object, you'll be having sharing rules. So let's suppose I have to write a sharing rule for, let's suppose I'll check for company object.
Actually, it was upstairs.
Let's see. So company sharing settings. Okay. So by default, test security made archival default updates and complaints. So I won't have access to this. Let's suppose for lead object or any object we'll see. So account sharing rule, this is also the test security made all by default. I think for which object like user is navigated or not. See here the user is test security. That's why I'm unable to see that. But here the user is, oh, I think, oh God. I have to do there. Actually, yeah, here if you show the records, it will show you that. Don't be get confused. User is different. Like I will log out from here. I'll show you that. Okay. So now we'll be having my first app, right? So here it is the test security app user. Now if you go to why we are not getting access means like for the test security user, he is not having access to that object. How we can provide access to other users? That's what it is saying. Understood? I think whether you understood. Yeah, I'll refresh this page. I'll see. Yes, it's my user only. Now I'll go to setup. So if you scroll down, you can see all the options now. Lead sharing, account sharing rules, opportunity sharing, company sharing, everything you can see here. Now, account sharing rules. If you click on new, you can be able to create a sharing rule. So that by taking help of this sharing rule, you can share your records with the different users. So here you'll be having, while creating sharing rule, you can keep a name and based on which type you want to do. We'll be having two types of sharing rules, record based sharing and owner based sharing. So coming to the record based sharing, so here owner based sharing means, so if the user is like, let's suppose Sirisha owned the record, based on her available public group with whom you want to share. Let's suppose if Sirisha owns the record, I have to share Sirisha's records with some public group. Public group means group of people. So I'll explain you that public groups and queues concept tomorrow. Okay. Public group means it's a group of people's portion. So if I give access to some set of users, see, select which records to be shared. Which records to be shared, we can select here. Roles. Based on some role, we can share the records. Based on roles and role subordinates records, we can share with others. Or based on public groups. If some record is available access to some public group, we can share those records. That thing we can select here. After this, you'll be having with which users you want to share the records. With the public groups, roles or role subordinate, we can select that. And to whomever you are sharing the records, which level of access they should have. Which level of access they should have, we can select that access level here. So based on record owner means, so whoever own the record based on public groups or roles or role hierarchies, we can share the records with others. The next will be having based on criteria. Based on criteria means based on some conditions, if you want to share the records on a fields, you can do this. So let's suppose if account rating is hot, if account rating equals to hot, such kind of records only I want to share with some public group. All this type of criteria satisfied record, I have to share with some public group of some roles having people or some roles and role subordinates. Like this, we can create a sharing settings and we can share the records. So with the sharing settings, with whom we can share the records? OWD, you got a clear idea. Yes, permission set, sharing settings. Sharing settings. First one is a owner based sharing. Owner based sharing means public groups, roles and roles, roles and subordinates. So with the owner based sharing, what we can do is we can provide this level of additional access. Here, right? Owner based sharing, public groups, roles and subordinates. So who like if some record is available for some public group, we can share that records with another public groups or another role having people or another roles or role subordinates. That is owner based. The next criteria based means if record met some condition, we can share those records with other public groups, roles and role hierarchies, role and role subordinates. Okay, so this is the thing. There's about sharing rules. Coming to the manual sharing, if you go to any records, beside the record, you'll be having share option. So if OWD is private, if you click on any record like this, you'll be get change owner option. So with the change owner option, like if you are able to see change owner means you can manually change the owner of the record. Let's suppose if I change the record owner to me, yes, I submitted it. Now I'll refresh this page. As I am an admin, I can able to see that. But if you go to that user, like a test security user, you won't be able to see that. So if you are able to see this change owner option means you'll be having like manual sharing access. While in a sharing settings itself, we can find that. So manual sharing also be done. So the next roles and role hierarchies we'll discuss. Yeah, you can go through a trailhead on that. Tomorrow I'll give you brief overview on roles and role hierarchies. So today what you have to do is you can go through data security trailhead models, and I'll share you this blog also. Please go through this blog clearly so that you'll understand much clearly. If you struck on this or if you have any doubts from this, I'll explain you in the next session. Make sense?
Yeah, okay, sure.
Okay then. Have a great day. Bye bye.
Thank you. You too.